everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lex. Today I wanted to talk about my September favorites. I want to talk about some plants in my collection that have just been really doing it for me this month, and even some plant products that I really like this month. I still can't even believe that it's fall already. I feel like this summer went by really fast. Normally I'm somebody who really likes summer. I don't know about you guys, but it was so hot this year in New Jersey that like we couldn't even enjoy the summer. I felt like it was even too hot for us to like go to the beach or like want to go to the pool. It was just so hot. So I'm kind of glad that it is starting to cool down now, and now that it's fall. I'm not much of a fall person. I don't really care for fall like seasonal activities and stuff like that, but I do like the cold weather. Are you guys into fall? Do you guys like pumpkins, pumpkin spice lattes, everything like that? I'm not a fan of anything pumpkin but it's always fun to just see what you guys like and everything like that. So I picked out 5 plants in my own collection that I really like, and I really want to show you guys. I don't often talk about these plants. I wanted to make sure that I pulled out a few plants that I don't really talk about, and the reason I don't talk about them is because some of them are just a little bit too big to get pictures of or to get like a reel of on Instagram, so sometimes it's a little difficult, so I don't really post them. But yes, I'm going to take you guys through my favorite plants of September and some plant products. So the first plant is this massive Anthurium. This is my Anthurium hybrid. It's a crystallinum and a forgetii cross. It has just became so big. This is the newest leaf right here. It's literally bigger than my head. This plant has been trimmed down so many times because it just takes up so much space, and it produces a leaf probably every month or like every other month. Sometimes when it produces a new leaf, I just have to cut off the old one. So probably when this one is starting its new leaf, I'll probably get rid of this one since it's the oldest. You can tell that it has some yellowing on it. This beauty, oh my gosh. This plant, you guys, I'm just obsessed. It's so happy. I keep this plant in our soil-free aeroid mix, and it's just been loving it. I think I got this plant in early January or late December. I can't remember, but when I got it, it was so small. I got it from somebody in my local Facebook group. I think that this one was actually my first Anthurium. It was either this or the crystallinum, but it was very small. And I remember seeing it on our local Facebook group. At the time, I thought it was a really good price, and I was just like, oh my god, look at this Anthurium. At the time, I didn't really have any like rare plants. Like I said, this plant was from Facebook Marketplace, so the seller was located in PA, and my boyfriend just happened to be in PA at the time, so I asked him to go pick it up. And I just remember I was just so excited. I could not wait for him to get home so I could see this plant, and he was just like, oh yeah, it looks cool, babe, and like didn't send me any pictures of it. And I was just like, oh my god, like when are you coming home? Like I want to see. I'll have to see if I can dig up some photos of it. Probably not when I first got it, but probably some photos when it was smaller. But yes, this plant was not this big, and I don't think I ever expected it to get this big. I actually didn't know how big Anthuriums could really get at the time, so I kind of was just like really shocked one day when it started putting out like really big leaves, and I was like, oh my god. I was just like, this plant is like getting really big. So now like seeing this leaf right here, this is the newest, I'm just like, oh my god, the next leaf is just gonna be like massive. And it has another one coming in, of course. This plant was living in the Ikea Milsbo. My Milsbo is actually my highest humidity cabinet. That cabinet literally is like 100% all the time, and it really thrived in there. So I don't know if that had a lot to do with it. This plant has just like taken off, but now since it is so big, like it's a very wide plant. It takes up a lot of space, obviously. I decided to move it into the big greenhouse where I'm at now because I just have to make space in the Milsbo. Like I can't keep trying to make space around this plant. It might go through a little bit of a shock just because it's not 100% humidity in here. It's about like 80 with the humidifier on. I'm going to be keeping this really close to the humidifier in here, so I think it should be good. This is my baby. I wish I could get more pictures of it. It's just like sometimes it's impossible with how large it is. So this was the Anthurium crystallinum forgetii hybrid. The next plant that I've been loving this month is my Philodendron Florida Beauty. Look at this new leaf. half moon, so beautiful. It is in leca and it's been really loving it. So a backstory on this plant was that I got it a few months ago. I purchased it from somebody on Instagram and it was just a solo green cutting. It was this one here, which you can see. It's got some yellow in it because I think it's gonna go soon, but it was solid green. You couldn't tell from the stem what it was gonna do, anything like that. I got it for 50 bucks. So I was just like, 50 bucks, you know, it's not too much money. If it goes all green, that's fine. It's still a beautiful plant. If it puts out some variegation, then that's awesome, right? So when I got it, I looked at the stem. There was slight yellow in the stem, so I was kind of hopeful about it. I rooted it in water for a few months and it didn't really do anything. It was growing roots, but it didn't put out a leaf or anything like that. I was like, I don't expect this plant really to be variegated. I'm not sure. The mother plant that it came from, the bottom was variegated, but the top had, I think, 2 or 3 just solid green leaves, so it was just putting out green. So I wasn't too hopeful, but I was still all in all happy that I had this plant because I really do like the leaf shape. I let it root in water for a few months and then I saw that it was finally about to put out a leaf and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And it put out this like little tiny dinky leaf at the bottom. Of course it would because it's a cutting, so it's super small. So I was just like, oh, I'm probably not gonna put out any variegation. I was like, nah, whatever. Maybe a month later it put out its second leaf, and I remember when it was coming in that me and James were like, no, like it looks like it's gonna have variegation. Like we saw like light green, like it was like light green on dark green, and then when it fully unfurled and hardened, it did have variegation. It looked like this when it fully unfurled. I was like, is this plant literally gonna be like fully variegated? That's crazy. I just like had no expectations for it. And then after that it produced this leaf and I was just like, no freaking way. So I was just so excited, you guys, about this plant. I was like, holy crap, I got a Florida Beauty for 50 bucks. I don't know if the seller feels some type of way, but I mean, they were selling it for 50 bucks, so I don't know. But I mean, thank you for selling it for 50 bucks, I guess. So now all the leaves are just highly variegated, you guys. It's kind of crazy and I'm just so obsessed with this plant. It's just kind of crazy to me because like I've wanted one of these for so long. It was on my wish list and I just knew that like I was not about to spend, you know, how much, whatever it cost at the time for Florida Beauty. I know that they're definitely coming down. I've seen like one leaf cutting for like 100, but like at the time they were definitely like for 200, like 250, and I was just like, I can't justify paying 250 for a leaf. So I mean, 50 bucks well spent on this plant, and I love that it was a cutting because I can, you know, grow it in semi-hydroponics. I can grow it in leca. I'm excited to see the next leaf because I just wasn't expecting that half moon either. But this is the Florida Beauty. So my next one, which I'm pretty sure you guys might expect, is my Amydrium. I got this plant for myself as a gift on my birthday in July, and I've been wanting one of these for so long, but they're so damn expensive. But I was able to find it at, you know, my business wholesale greenhouse where I go to pick up my plants for the shop. I was actually able to find it there and they were like, yeah, like we have a whole bunch of them, and I was able to get it for a really good price. So big that I can't even like show you guys. When I got it, it was like 1, 2, and 3, I think, and it had like a 4th one coming in, but as you see, homemade moss pole. This is just a clear cooking mat that I use for the back, and then the guarding like mesh fencing, and then zip ties. I've demonstrated how to make this pole on my Instagram, so if you're curious on how to make it, I'll post the story highlight below so that you guys can check it out. But as you can see, this is the newest leaf. It's completely outgrown the pole. Look at the difference from here to here, and it has a new leaf. So I'm feeling that maybe I should cut it. I don't really want to because I love how big this plant gets, but it's also another plant that's taking up a ton of space. It lives in the milk bowl on the very bottom. I just don't feel like extending this pole, so I don't know, maybe I will just cut it, take the top cut, and root it in water or something and see what happens. And if you are interested in that plant and you've been looking for one, I know that they're super hard to find. I actually have one here, a very big one, for sale on the shop. This is the one that we have for sale on the shop. These leaves are actually bigger than mine. We do have a very nice specimen on the shop, so in case you're looking for it, I will link it down below so you guys can check it out as well. It's a beautiful plant. It's not talked about enough, but it is actually really easy to care for. It's very similar to a philodendron, and it climbs up a pole, so it's just very easy. But yeah, that was my Amydrium medium blue. The next plant I want to showcase is my Philodendron variegated burl mark. It's been putting out these really gorgeous leaves. This plant was actually an import. I think it was an import from Green Spaces. It's very interesting because when I got it, I think it had 3 leaves on it, but it had like 3 or 4 growth points. I don't really know how to explain it, but now it has so many growth points. Like I don't know. It's just growing everywhere. It's growing from every single like direction. I recently just cut it. I took like 3 top cuts from like each growth point that was like ready to be cut, and it's still like super like bushy. It's very interesting because since it has so many growth points and the stems are so different, one side is very dark like these, and then the other half is very light. At some point, it was even producing solid green and solid yellow. So I had cut that off, had a little seedling of it that had 2 green leaves, and then the 3rd leaf actually was a half moon. It was half green, half yellow, and I gifted it to a friend on Instagram. And then the other one is just a solid green cutting. So I'm waiting for the next leaf to come out to see what it does. Usually around the same time, each growth point will put out a leaf at the same time. I'll just have multiple new leaves just coming in, and they're all different. I also feel that this is a great variegated plant for beginners. It is a philodendron, so it's very easy to care for. It doesn't require much. I've never really experienced any browning on this one, considering it is variegated, but I'm not sure if that's just because I have it in high humidity. This is the Philodendron variegated burl mark. The last plant that I want to showcase this month is actually my Syngonium red spot tricolor. The variegation on this plant is just beautiful, you guys. The pink, the white, the green, I'm just so obsessed. It is small because I purchased it really small actually, and I got it from the Ecuagenera pop-up that happened I think last month. It was just so beautiful. It caught my boyfriend's eye and he was like, whoa, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's a, you know, red spot tricolor. I was like, yeah, they're nice, whatever. And I never considered getting one just because I was like, well, the price is just very high for what it was. But since I went on the last day of the Ecuagenera pop-up event, everything was already discounted and you got like an additional like 20%, so it came out to a really good price, so I said why not. I also feel that this is a good investment for my store so that when I take cuttings of it, then I can have some more for you guys. You guys know I'm a huge Syngonium fan. I definitely do collect Syngoniums. I'm trying to build my Syngonium collection. I keep this in the Rudsta cabinet that I have with the rest of the Syngoniums. I have like a little Syngonium shrine in there. Yeah, I'm really excited for this plant to get big. I can't wait for it to start growing upwards so that I can get it on a pole and get some really big leaves. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. The colors are beautiful and it's an easygoing plant. And this is the Syngonium red spot tricolor. So moving on to some of my favorite plant products that I've been using this month. The first one I want to talk about is Dynagrow, the liquid fertilizer. I haven't tried all of the Dynagrows, so I don't know which is the best out of them all because there is a lot. I've been using it really this whole time and I guess it works pretty good. I like that it's liquid because you know that I have half of my collection in semi-hydroponics and half of it is in a soil-free potting mix. The liquid makes it really easy just to be able to just pour it into your watering can or your water sprayer, whatever you use. And you don't have to mix this one with anything. Sometimes I find that certain fertilizers are a little bit complex when you have to mix like half of this and half of this and half of this. Like I feel like it's a little bit too much for me and I just need a one-part system, so I think this one works great. I know that there's another one, right, like the Foliage Pro, and then the Bloom one. I don't really know what the difference is between this one and the Foliage Pro, but maybe I'll try the Foliage Pro one next. On the back it has specific instructions on how to use it. You can use it for hydroponics, you can use it for your regular plant. It tells you how to maintain it. You can also use it as a foliage spray, which I didn't know, so maybe I will try that. It is very small considering the price that it costs, but you only have to use a little bit per gallon, so I think it does last really long, and I do think it's worth it. Let me know what your favorite liquid fertilizer is. I'm really looking to try new ones, so just let me know down below in the comments. The next thing that I've really been liking this month is actually the rooting powder hormone. This is specific for propagation. So right when you're going to make a new propagation, you would cut your plant, you would dip it into this. It's like a powder, and then you would put it in whatever method that you're propagating with, and then it should speed up the root process. I have been a little bit forgetful to use this, but every single time that I do, I always see roots way faster than when I don't use it. So like I said, it is a powder. You just cut, dip, and then put it in wherever you're putting it. I've even put my propagations in water with it and it was fine. I think this also works really well if you're someone who propagates in soil, because you can simply just cut your plants and stick them in soil and they will grow roots as long as you're on top of it. This does work with water. I know it works with moss, leca, whatever. I do need to remember to use this more often, but it definitely does work and I really do like the results of it, so I highly recommend this. The next product that I've really been loving is kind of controversial. It is neem oil. I know neem oil doesn't do a thing, okay? I already understand that. It does not kill pests, you guys. It doesn't kill pests. I like neem oil to shine the leaves of my plants. If you notice, when I was showing off all my plants, they're really shiny. I've gotten a lot of comments on Instagram about, oh my god, your plants are so shiny. Yeah, it's because I use neem oil. I don't use the neem oil that's already pre-made in the spray bottle. I actually use the concentrate and mix it myself. This is the pure neem oil concentrate. It is very thick and it stinks. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, it stinks. Neem oil is really freaking disgusting. But with this one, you actually mix it with water and dish soap. And the dish soap that I always use with this is Dawn dish soap. The reason I use Dawn is because, I mean, Dawn is out here killing fleas, so it must be killing something on these plants. You just follow the instructions, you shake it up, and I like to spray it on all of my plants' leaves with a microfiber cloth, and I just really just clean them, and it gets all of the water stains off, because sometimes, you know, you get water stains or they're dusty. I also do this to all the plants before I ship them out, so people have told me, like, when they open their plant, they're just like, wow, the leaves look so healthy and shiny. It's literally because I'm doing this. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but the plants are shiny. I'm a huge stickler about having clean plants and clean cabinets. My Ikea greenhouse cabinets and this greenhouse, I clean them once a week. Like, I just have to. And as for the leaves of all the plants, I clean the front and back of them every single week. I hate seeing dusty plants. I'm sorry if that is you, no offense to you, but I hate seeing that. I hate when I see pictures of plants on Instagram and they are dusty, you guys. Like, I hate that. I am very particular. I just like what I like, but yes, I clean all of the leaves front and back for myself and for my customers right before I ship them out, so they're nice and clean and shiny and they just look so healthy this way. But yes, this is literally what I'm using. Like I said, I don't use that spray that's already pre-made. If you mix it with the dish soap and water, it just makes a great solution to just clean off water spots and dust and whatever else is on the plant. I recommend this. I know that a lot of people don't like it. That's fine, you don't have to, but this is what I do to clean the leaves to make sure that they're nice and shiny. So thank you guys so much for watching today, and let me know what your September favorites were this whole month. Whether it was a plant product, let me know, especially if it is a plant product, because I am always looking to try something new. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!